It's the Chris Salcedo Show. Happy you've tuned in, everybody. Telephone number is 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. Going to stop down from talking really heavy politics because a lot of consequence to what happened in Senate District 9 over the weekend. I'll get back to your calls on that in a moment. But first, I want to welcome to the program Mike Howell. He is the president of the Oversight Project. He has a senior experience from different oversight positions in the executive branch on Capitol Hill and is representing private parties in oversight and investigation matters. He is a graduate of Duke University and Emory Law School. Welcome back, man. How you doing?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you, sir. So let's talk about Netflix. This is probably not on everybody's radar screen as far as what you guys would do as quote unquote oversight. But Netflix, what did you catch them doing?
Yeah, well, we don't call them Netflix anymore. We call them Fedflix. So a lot of people don't understand the nature of the relationship between the federal government and the Democratic Party and Netflix. Obviously, most people generally get there is a symbiosis between those entities and Hollywood in terms of, a lot of the content that comes out.
Yeah.
Particularly pronounced at Netflix, aka Fedflix. And so what we caught them doing, particularly at the FBI, is a lot of the shaping of the content that ends up appearing on your Netflix app. The FBI is very interested in protecting their image, their brand, as they call it. And we think this is wrong. We don't think the feds should have a PR arm that is shaping entertainment content. And then moreover, when you look at Netflix, what you will find is that the board of directors and the people behind it are all major internationalist Democrat brokers. I mean, that's why Obama went there. That's why Susan Rice has gone between Netflix and the federal government a few times. And so what they're trying to do now for the potential acquisition of Warner Brothers is really expand and cement their control over what I'm calling the biggest political and ideological propaganda machine in human history.
Well, how is this different? Because I remember Stargate SG-1. They had Air Force consultants coming in to make sure that the program was authentic. And as a matter of fact, it was so authentic that the Air Force made Richard Dean Anderson an honorary colonel because he portrayed a colonel so well in the 10-year-long series, ultimately getting promoted to a general in the last 2 seasons. But how is that different from what you discovered?
Yeah, so there's a long history of propaganda with the U.S. government and Hollywood. Oftentimes in earlier history, it was for positive ends to fight communism, instill and support national pride, and so forth. But now, with the decline of American, society and culture, and the Democrat Party being an explicitly anti-American project, the ends of the propaganda are actually destructive. That's not to say propaganda was ever, good as a tactic. It's to say the reasons for which it's deployed now are markedly different. They're destructive. They want your kids to turn trans. They want them to be gay. They want to recruit them into that, and they want to shape narratives that are friendly to the deep state. And they want to socially engineer a worldview and geopolitics that is favorable to them. And so that's why it's very different now.
Yeah, just have a look at the latest offering from Paramount. Starfleet Academy. I got 2 episodes into that piece of trash and had to stop. It just crammed full of woke, as you mentioned, deep state nonsense. Mike Howell is our guest right now, folks, president of the Oversight Project. The cancel campaigns on Netflix, as they have been doing, promoting a lot of this deviancy out there, sexual deviancy with children in particular. How have they, by your research, how have those cancel campaigns impacted Netflix's bottom line? And is that why they're turning to government to get to our taxpayer dollars to subsidize the loss because they're turning out crap on their platform?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that Netflix isn't necessarily a financial project for them. I mean, of course, they make tons of money and it's a near monopoly status. And that's why I think the antitrust laws of the US should apply. But like a lot of major corporations in America, it is an ideological project. This is how Democrats and the far left think. They understand the social engineering power of it. And so they would gladly take a financial hit in favor of an ideological win. And so That's why they, there's a lot of things on Netflix that aren't propaganda. They get you watching them, excited about it, some good shows, but then they slip in narratives and algorithmically force them on you. The way I've been talking about this recently is, just imagine in a couple years, the Minneapolis documentary that'll come out where they'll paint the ICE rioters and insurgents as absolute heroes, when in reality, what we're seeing is a paramilitary operation on American streets aimed at overthrowing the US government.
Yeah, precisely. Mike, what can be done? Because as you know, Netflix is a paid service. Like cable, like HBO was. I know there was a big stink when I was a kid. HBO and Showtime came out, and they were showing some, programming that some found objectionable, but it's paid. People got to fork out that money. Are you suggesting that the consumer do something about it, or government monitor its participation with Netflix?
All of the above. I think the average American needs to know when they turn on Netflix or watching Fedflix, and should be highly suspicious of what they're seeing and why they're seeing it.
I
Furthermore,
love the name. I just
what's
love the name. I just love the name Fedflix.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
that's what we called it that.
Okay.
And then obviously the antitrust implications of this. We're looking at near monopoly control, not just for an entertainment service, but for a political enterprise. And so I think it should be viewed not just in purely economic terms, because it's not that. It is an ideological and partisan exercise. I think it should be viewed under the guise of maybe even campaign finance type laws.
Okay. All right. Well, so now the obvious question for I'm sure you guys have researched, is everybody doing what Netflix is doing, or are there alternatives to Netflix that people can just, ditch Netflix and go find somebody that's not, I don't know, using government as its personal piggy bank or propaganda arm?
Yeah, not at the size of Netflix. No, there are no clean actors once you get that big. That's the problem in corporate international companies like this, is they all lean left because the right doesn't have the guts to push back or engage in these types of
Right.
ventures.
Right.
And so, no, you can go on YouTube and try to find some independent content, I suppose. But when it comes to entertainment as we understand it, I mean, that's what Hollywood does. Hollywood makes dumb movies so Chinese people can understand them with translation and recognize the characters. That's what our, culture and society and entertainment have devolved to.
Oh, yes. Yes. Folks, you would be shocked to know how much Hollywood tailors its propaganda so it can get played on communist China's screens. You can't say a bad word about the commies. Um, I wanted you to just comment. I'm sure you've been watching what's been going on politically, the inaction of the Republican held Congress, President Trump seeming to be on alone in an island with his administration, trying to do the right thing. We just had a political earthquake here in Texas, where a plus 17 Trump district just went to the Democrat in a special election by 14 points. That's a huge swing. What are your concerns looking forward to 2026?
Yeah, I don't think the realignment that started in 2015 with the voting electorate has manifested in changes in the elected class. And that's, honestly due to the fact that President Trump has made a lot of bad endorsements over the years. I mean, you look at guys like Tom Tillis, he had a Trump endorsement last go around. He doesn't now.
Yeah.
But then you look at Lindsey Graham, Trump endorsement. And so there's a lot of short term trade offs for political reasons being made out of the White House and the political arm of the Trump enterprise. And until we can finally get an elected class that reflects the realigned base, which has very simple demands of America First policy, we're going to keep seeing these things pop up. And unless the administration can deliver on deportations and accountability, I think midterm turnout is going to be low. The base needs reasons to be activated, and it's pretty simple. The president had 20 campaign promises, which were widely popular. One of them, by the way, is mass deportations. And we're seeing that being traded off now just because CNN and others are running some pretty mean headlines about it. And so, as I like to say, you dance with the girl you brought to prom. And President Trump had 20 great promises on the campaign trail that got him back into the White House. And so it's really simple. Just do what you said you were going to do, and everything will be fine.
Our side votes for something, not against something. And that's how you win elections, something the Republican Party either doesn't know or refuses to learn. Mike Howell, everybody, he is the president of the Oversight Project. If folks want to check out what you do, help out what you do, where can you go, or can they go?
Check us out on social media on X at It's Your Gov. I'm at mhaltweets, and our website is itsyourgov.org.
Mike, thanks very much. Appreciate the time. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
You bet.